How about a Coppola quick facts?
This is the first collaboration between Nic Cage and Kelsey Grammer, which is kind of crazy because Nic Cage he's been acting in 5 decades worth of films. Kelsey Grammer's career has been going since, the early 80s, probably late 70s as well. So yeah, it's pretty crazy to think. But yeah, at the same time, it's kind of like Kelsey Grammer's always been in this like kind of more highbrow stuff. And Nic Cage is kind of like, well, if there's a paycheck.
Yeah, there's probably not a lot of overlap.
No. The original screenplay was called Fancy, Buddy, and Mr. Walter, which I could sit here all day and come up with stupid names for movies, and I don't think I could ever come up with anything dumber than that.
No, that one takes the cake, man. That is
Fancy, Buddy, and Mr. Walter.
The 1950s sitcom or something. Well, wacky hijinks will the 3 get up to tonight?
This is the lowest rated and lowest grossing movie ever led by Nic Cage, which is surprising because the movie's actually pretty decent. I mean,
that's cool because it's nowhere to go but up from here.
Exactly. Like if this is the worst Nicolas Cage movie, which I know for a fact it is not, because I've seen way worse Nicolas Cage movies. Which leads me to my next quick fact. This is the first film with Nicolas Cage in a starring role to have a 0%, which is pretty crazy if you think about, I mean, he had done, 97 films or roughly 90 something starring roles and had never had a 0% in a starring role, but he does have a 0% in a supporting role, which is actually the movie that we're doing next, Deadfall, which I did not do that on purpose. I didn't mean to do that at all. When I picked Grand Isle, I was like, well, that's a newer movie I know nothing about, so let's put it on the list. I feel like because of the choices on the first 4 movies, this show might feel like it's more like we're poking fun at Nic Cage. But I feel like this show is a celebration of Nic Cage. We just happened to pick 4 kind of dopey movies in a row that I honestly think are all brilliant in their own ways. So
to head that off, I will say I really enjoyed Nic Cage in this movie.
I love Nic Cage in this movie.
Me too.
I've loved Nic Cage in every movie I've ever seen him in.
I won't be ragging on him.
Even if he shows up for 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite Nic Cage movies now. Just because he's just so over the top, but it fits so well in this crazy story that unfolds throughout the movie.
This movie actually won a couple of awards. It won the Spotlight Award at the Lone Star Film Festival and received a special mention at the Noir Film Festival. So there's that. Awards. Of some sort.
Interesting.
It almost feels like a movie that was made just for a film festival.
Yeah,
like they were trying to go for those awards, and I guess got it, but
we were talking
needed to. Yeah. I don't think it deserved it, but
we were talking before we started recording about this kind of feeling like a student film, which this was actually. I'm going to butcher his name again. Ivor William Jala. This is his first writing credit, which he's got a bunch of things in the works. So it kind of is a student film if you think about it. Yeah. Aside from the guy who worked with Clint Eastwood for 20 years and Eric Moynier, the guy who was the cinematographer. I mean, you are never going to get cinematography that good in a student film, but story. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes me wonder how much of the movie they cut out to shape what we ended up getting, which is why I really was so sad they didn't have the commentary track.
Yeah.
Because it felt like there was so much more that was on the pages. I think the
studio was probably like, we're not putting any more money into this. You're not doing a commentary. It's just
it's made $2,000.
We're gonna cut that. Let's just we'll put it out and try to get money back.
I wonder if it had some sort of theatrical release. It would have definitely had to have made more. So I wonder why the decision was made to not. Maybe it was like a producer scenario and they wanted to make a bomb so they could recoup their loss. That actually might be it.
Could be.
I mean, it could be, yeah.
Like the movie The Producers is not entirely a joke, that they do have insurance on how bad a movie bombs.
I mean, that's not unusual for Nic Cage lately. Seems like almost all of his movies are direct to home video in some way or another, streaming or Blu-ray or whatever. But yeah, I think almost all of the movies that he's done in that big, 6 movies 3 years in a row and 5 movies before that, I think almost all of those were direct to streaming or direct to video. Aside from like the Croods and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and all that stuff.
The big budget stuff.
Yeah.